So now we're going to get on to removing this AC box. So a couple of small things have to come off first. There's a mesh screen on top. There's a 7mm, or a couple of them that hold that in. These wiper arms, and I'm going to go ahead and take the transmission for the wiper arm assembly loose, get all that out. So I'm going to start with this cowl to rear hood seal. This just presses on, so we're going to pull that off. Just lay that right up there. And then let me grab the camera and move in a little bit closer, and I'll show you some of this stuff up here that needs to come out. Okay, so let's get the wiper arms off. These are actually quite easy. If you pull the arm all the way up, there's a small little tab that sticks out. Pull that to the side, and it locks the arm in an upward position, and it releases tension, and then you can pop the wiper arm off. If you look on the back side, it is keyed. Same thing with the spindle here. There's a key on it, so the arm only goes on one way. Good time. So that's done. We'll sit that right there. And there are 3 bolts that hold this on. Remember how I said everything on this car was metric? 7/16. 7/16 takes this off. We'll get these off, and then we'll do the other side the same way. Now if you'll see on the other side, this is keyed with this huge metal block on it, and the inside of this one is left almost completely open. So you can't even mix left and right. So it makes it pretty easy. So now we come to the other side. This is the fresh air intake for the AC box, AC/heater box. And it has a screen over it, like you'd see in a screen door. This is to keep large debris from getting down into the well. And actually, that looks pretty clean down there. I'm actually quite surprised. You can see a lot of gunk down there. But honestly, that could be a layer of gunk for all I know. I'm not going to tell until I get this whole thing off. So we're going to go and remove all these screws. They're all 7mm. There's one here at the far end. Come to the center. There's 2 where the squirter is at. There's 1 here in the center. And then it hangs over the end, and there are 2 out here on this end. All those come off, and then we just lift this screen off. So let me get this camera out of the way so I can free my hands up, and we'll get that loose. All right, with that out of the way, I'm just going to take the squirter and the hose, just move that off to the side, and then raise this up. And make sure I don't knock any debris down into, I've already got loose here. There's some insulation coming off with it. So anyway, so there that is. That's all out. Let's get that off to the side. So now that's done, we're going to start unbolting some of the external stuff for the box to get it off. First thing, there is a very small ground wire that goes from the firewall into the heater core, which we'll discuss later, but that needs to come off. Okay, peel that loose. Let's just stick that right up there so it's out of the way. The bolt for that ground wire was 10mm, as are all the bolts that go around for the entire box. So I'm going to go around here, take all these loose, and then we'll move to a couple bolts that need to come loose on the inside of the vehicle. So those 10mm bolts are loose and out. And now basically the only thing holding this in on this side is just the seal around the opening in the firewall. But we got to go inside the vehicle. There's a couple little connections in there we got to take care of, and then we'll come back out here. Let's dig back down into the inside of the car. Let's go right here, see if we can see this. There is, that servo right there controls air that goes up to the defrost for the window. That stays in the vehicle. So there is this one rubber vacuum line that's on that. That needs to come loose. So we'll pull that. So get this off. And you can see when it goes on, this goes around in the pipe and kind of holds it in place. So make sure that when you take it off, you have to pull that with it. So now that's off. The rest of this is going to go out with the heater box. So let's look at a couple of bolts that need to come loose. Now at the center, you've got two 7mm screws here that hold, basically it's a piece of the bottom ducting, and then this is one of the pieces that holds this top ducting in place. So those two 7mm have to come out. So those two are loose. Let's move over to the passenger side of the vehicle for one last disconnect. So now over on the passenger side, you have this clip. It's just basically spring loaded in place. Make sure all that's loose. I think there's some wiring. I think some speaker wire. Yeah, right here. That's probably not going to come out with the vehicle. Come out with the AC box. So that stays inside the car. And right over here, the harness has its own ground wire, and it goes right up into the middle. That is a 10mm screw. That needs to come out as well. So I'm going to take that out, and then there'll be no more connections in here that need to be removed, and we should be able to pull this thing right out. Now back outside the vehicle, that should be everything. And okay, understand, if you're doing this and the fender and the rest of the car is still together, you're going to have to take off, you have to jack up the vehicle, take off this tire, and take off the plastic inner fender well, and to get to some of the bolts. And even then, this is going to be a bear to get out because it's quite large. And inside, with the dash still in the way, if you take out the radio and the AC control, you can get to those two bolts in the back, and everything else you can get from underneath the servo, the ground wire. So anyway, so now everything is loose. This thing, as long as I can break this seal and it's not glued on here so tight that it's going to be hard to get off, this whole thing should come out. You got to tilt it down. I have to clear this metal over here, so it's going to have to kind of scoot this way and then out, but it should come out as one big unit. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, crack the seal on it. There it is. Seal doesn't want to let go. Somewhere there. Okay. Come down and pull out. There it is. All right. Got one connector in here. It's going to need to come loose. I missed this one. This guy stays in there. Everything else comes out. Come on. Wire stuck. There it is. And it's the whole unit out of the car. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Summer is beating me down, man. So this is out. I think this is going to be it for this video. And next one, you'll see me taking this AFC box apart and cleaning everything up. So that's it for me, guys. I'm burning up. I'm going to go have a nice tall glass of water. See ya. All right, so I'm not quite done. The box is out of the car. I forgot to mention, now I've mentioned this in other videos, bag and tag, boys and girls, bag and tag. So what I did was I broke everything down into individual parts, and I'm going to put that in one large bag labeled AC box. That way when this thing goes back together, there's no guessing about what bolt went where. It's all labeled and ready to go. So I think now that's it. So if you like this video, click the like button and do me a favor and click the subscribe. So the next video I got, you'll know about it. And if you got somebody you think you might like this video, share it with them. It helps me out quite a bit. And there's, of course, my t-shirt shop. If you find a shirt you like, I get a small profit from each sale. So that helps me out too greatly. So appreciate all the help. Anyway, that's it for now. Really for now. See you guys.